It's Tony with the Courage Chronicles, and we're back at the Defense Symposium 2025 here in Box Elder. And I'm here with Matt Dunleavy, and he is the drone expert. So thank you for joining us, Matt.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me. It's an absolute honor to be speaking with you and to be here in Rapid City. I thought that the Black Hills Symposium went absolutely flawlessly, and it was a really good time and very informative. And thanks for having me here.
Great. Can you just give us a little background of who you are, what you do, and a little intro?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm a UAS subject matter expert, and I've ventured into the realm of counter UAS for, the last 5 years. Been doing BB loss or beyond visual line of sight and visual line of sight UAS operations for over 10 years, overseeing thousands of successful UAS operations all over the country, all over the world. Just someone who's really passionate about UAS and does business through them.
You're saying UAS.
Mhm.
To the novice, I'm thinking drone or UAV. What's the difference?
So it wasn't always at first it was a faux pas and it wasn't always accepted to use the term drone, and how, for the nomenclature, the word drone has also even morphed into a verb, like, hey, don't drone me, bro. And so, but the American people and people all over the world kind of have a funny way of deciding on their own what is and is not the right word to be using. So
Yes.
we started out at the University of North Dakota, where I'm from, in Grand Forks. We started in unmanned aircraft operations, or unmanned aircraft systems operations baccalaureate degree. It was the first in the country. I still believe it's one of the strongest, if not the strongest. And I look at the diploma that the students get, and it says unmanned aircraft systems operations, the UAS. I know other people say RPA, which is remotely piloted aircraft,
Yes.
or UAV, unmanned aerial system. I prefer UAS. And now it's, instead of unmanned, it's uncrewed. So uncrewed aircraft system, not just because of the diplomas, but also because of the FAA's definition. They say that a UAS, or an uncrewed aircraft system, is an aircraft.
Okay.
So I think a lot of the commercial side uses uncrewed aircraft systems, or UAS, now. And on the defense side, there is still a lot of use of the term RPA, remotely piloted aircraft. But I think UAS is kind of gaining traction as a term.
Okay. Well, great. Thank you for clearing that up for us and educating us.
Mm-hmm.
So, first question. Can you elaborate on some of the specific ways in which UAS pose a threat to our national security today? I mean, we hear about it in the news, but educate us, please.
Well, absolutely. And I mean, it's a question that needs to be asked. And the fact of the matter is that UAS, groups 1 through 3, and even 4 and 5, pose a national security threat to our interests across the globe, and even in the continental United States, or in the 50 states. Like you mentioned in the news, you saw the incidents in New Jersey recently.
Yes.
Where you had some false positives in terms of sightings, and that makes clear that it's on the conscience of the public. And then you have the incursions that you saw, say, in like the 60 Minutes episode recently, where there was an actual incursion at Langley, a sustained one.
Yes. Yeah.
It's obvious on the face of it that it's a national security threat, but personally, I think it's the adversaries can see the way in which the United States conducts itself, particularly the defense apparatus. Here in South Dakota, you've got the nuclear bombers. They're extremely expensive, extremely exquisite. They need to be protected because they protect us. Small UAS can pose a threat to them. Across the heartland, across the coasts, there's critical infrastructure in terms of the, say, substations, nuclear power plants, any type of facility that is critical to the United States and the functioning of our society. It has a threat posed to it by drones, and that absolutely is a national security threat.
I guess along those same lines, when we're talking about UAS, we see them operated overseas. It's been kind of highlighted in the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Can you maybe talk about what type of UAS in varies in sizes and types, but what would kind of be the most threatening type? Is it going to be maybe the individual hobbyist, or is it something else that we're going to see?
Yeah, so I think that the United States is ahead when it comes to the bigs, like the Group Fours and Group Fives, the Predators and the Reapers and the Global Hawks. But near peers are catching up, like the Dragon UAS that China has, and some of the others. The Russians have their Group Fours now. You see, different countries are buying the Bayraktars out of Turkey. They're bigs,
Yeah.
but they're also bigger targets in that sense. So there's a competition on the homeland. I would say that the biggest threat is going to be in those Group Ones and Group Twos. Group Ones that are easily able to swarm. Group Twos that a person can put together in their garage and launch it from a place where it can't be traced back to them,
Yeah.
and it's flying autonomously. And then I haven't seen too many of them here in the United States yet, but the Group 1 Silkworm, where it's an FPV that has a fiber optic cable, so it's unjammable and difficult to detect, but still perfectly maneuverable in an omnidirectional sense. These things are extremely cheap to build, and they can wreak absolutely devastating havoc. So those I think are difficult to counter and are so cheap that we need to be looking at them.
Well, definitely raises some concerns, I think. How important do you think is public awareness in the education in the risk responsibility when it comes to UAS? And, how would you suggest maybe improving some of that?
Yeah, I mean, public awareness, public acceptance, and educating the public and being ambassadors for the industry is absolutely crucial. I think that we want to make sure, similarly in the UAS sector, like we had this barrier to entry to get clients. We had to educate them that UAS are not a risk. That this is what it is. It's an industry that's here. It can be disruptive in a beneficial fashion, help you as a company if you're a company on your bottom line. And it's the same thing with counter UAS. So you might have the questions of, well, is this radiation that's getting emitted going to affect me, or is it going to affect my health, or is it going to affect my, say, like my cell signal or things like that? Because I need these things to go around my day to day business.
Yes.
And to be able to make people aware that there are regulations and even stifling in some cases that exist to make sure that these are operated in the correct way, in a non-disruptive way. That's good. Disruptive daily life, that is. And so to keep getting the word out there, connecting with some of the people in higher education that are working on counter UAS, interfacing with the DoD counter manufacturers, and even the DoD itself, I think is absolutely imperative, so that everyone's singing from the same sheet of music and that they are getting out there and getting that message out there. That's one of the things, like regulations, the messaging and the public education is going to be absolutely crucial as this ecosystem of counter UAS progresses.
I just love how knowledgeable you are and how clear and concise you can articulate such a really technical topic. What, I guess, would you say is, given our rapid advancements of technology, what trends do you anticipate that we could kind of see and exacerbate the threat to our national security?
Yeah. So the iteration and the innovative nature of how these drones are advancing is mind-boggling, and it's continuing to accelerate. The I would say the miniaturization of the technologies, they keep getting smaller. Batteries keep getting more and more capable for endurance. The convergence of these different technologies, such as the links between, say, swarms, are more and more sophisticated.
Yeah.
The ability to launch without giving it a second thought that the operator, they themselves are exposed, and then the artificial intelligence, not just that is part of a swarm of drones, but that can on its own break a drone off and go and do something else. And the different types of capabilities and attributes that each one of those drones can have that is different in such a swarm. So It's definitely an important question in terms of, how is the advancement going, and what can we see. But it's lastly, I would say, just with that miniaturization, not just is it more user friendly and cost effective, but it's also that much more difficult to detect in the first place. So, those FPV drones that have those fiber optic cables for command and control that are difficult to detect and almost impossible to defeat. Um, Jam or kinetically defeat. It's seeing more of that even without a fiber optic cable. So something that can dead reckon, and stuff like that. So there's a lot of different advancements in the techniques, and there's a lot of different advancements in the technologies that they're going to take care of themselves, and we can only really speculate. But the fact of the matter is that there are rapid advancements in drones, and depending on what they are, they could definitely exacerbate the issue.
Well, Matt, your presentation was fantastic. I really appreciated it. If there's anyone viewing this or has maybe more questions, where can they find you to find more answers, or maybe have you come and speak at a conference like this somewhere else?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Well, I live, it's a 7-hour drive between Rapid City and Grand Forks, and the conference organizers have my contact information. I would love to connect with anyone. So, you can reach me at my company, Ethero. So, AETHERO.ai
Okay.
is our website, and Matt at ethero.ai. On the private side, and otherwise, I would also recommend to people here in South Dakota and across the surrounding region, to interface with each other and build that network to help stimulate the defense industrial base, especially as it pertains to counter UAS and small UAS. So happy to speak with people on the UAS operations and data analysis side. We're happy to, I think, just to encourage that ecosystem development as well.
Okay. Well, again, Matt, thank you so much for your education that you provided for us and your time. And hopefully we get to see you again here next year and we can learn more.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be here next year, and looking forward to it.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Have a great day.